Today we're going to be working with some functions. We're going to be using some mapping, some ordered pairs, some tables, and some graphs. So what is a function? A function is a relationship between input and output. It's where each domain is paired with exactly one range. Alright, so let's look at a mapping example. Remember what I said, how each domain, or x, has to be paired exactly with one y. So let's look at this first mapping example. So if we have this each x, does this x pair with one specific y? Yes. So this 1 pairs with this, 0 pairs with 6, this 3 pairs with 3, 4 pairs with 9. It doesn't matter if the -2 and the 3 pair with -3, just as long as they pair with one specific range. So this right here, this first one is a function. So let's get a check. So let's look at the second one. Second one over here. So we have in the x mapping, we have this 1 goes with the 9. But we also see that this 1 also goes with the 2. Remember, each x has to be exactly to one y. This 1 goes with 2 y's. So that makes it not a function. So this one is not a function because of how this 1 pairs up with number 9 and number 2. Let's look at this table example. Let's look at the first one, this first table. So, remember, each x must be paired with exactly one y. So, we have a -1 pairs with 5, 0 pairs with 8, 1 pairs with 11, 2 pairs with 14. Realize that there is not a repeat number when it comes to the x's. So, in this case, this table is a function. Let's look at the second table. We have 4 is paired with 1, 2 is paired with 3, 4 is paired with 5, and -4 is paired with 1. If we look in the x part of the table, we realize we have a 4 here, we have a 4 here. Since this 4 pairs with a 1 and a 5, that does not make it a function. So, since the 4's are repeating, there is no function. Let's look at an ordered pair example. This first part, we have 4 ordered pairs. We have 5, -7, 6, -7, -8, -1, and 0, -1. If you realize, in the x coordinates, the numbers do not repeat. So this right here is an example of a function. So let's look at the second example. We have, again, 4 ordered pairs. We have 2, 1, 3, -2, 3, 1, 2, -2. So this is not a function, basically because we have a 3 that goes with a -2 and they have another 3 that goes with a 1. So these right here makes it not a function. Also, we even have a 2 in the x coordinate and a 2 up here. So this 2 is paired with a 1 and the other 2 is paired with a -2. So this also makes sure that it is not a function. Now when we're looking at a graph and trying to determine if the line is a function or not, we do this thing called a vertical line test. So basically what the vertical line test is, if you can draw a straight line anywhere on the graph, up and down, and if you only hit the line just once, then it is a function. In this case, in the very first example, you are seeing that if I'm drawing a straight vertical line, I'm only hitting the line once. So in this case, this graph is a function. Now let's look at the second graph. If we're drawing a straight line on the far left side of the graph, then we're not going to be hitting the line, or we're not going to be hitting the line whatsoever. But let's draw the line directly on the y-axis. It looks like we're hitting the line in one spot. If we draw the line in one spot over, it looks like we are hitting the line at two spots, at 1, -1 and 1, 1. So since we're hitting it in two spots, this is an example of not a function. So use the vertical line test when it comes to graph to see if it is a function. If it hits in more than one place, like at 4, -4 and 4, 4, then it is not a function. Equations that are functions can be written in a form called function notation. For example, consider the equation that we have over here. We have y equals 3x plus 2. If we want to write it in a function notation, we would write the f of x is equal to 3x minus 8. This f of x basically means the function of x. Now you may come across an equation where it's telling you they want to see this. So don't get completely freaked out. Basically, what this f of 5, what this is basically telling you, you read this as f of 5, and all that they're wanting you to do is wherever you see an x in the formula, they want you to plug in a 5. So all that you have to do, wherever you find an x, plug in a 5. So when you rewrite this, it would be 3 times 5 minus 8. So from there, we solve multiplication. 15 minus 8. From there, 15 minus 8 is 7. So the function that when it's f of 5, the answer is going to be 7.